All right. So we are also live on YouTube right now. And then YouTube, if you have not joined already, we're live on the school community, a smaller group on school. So if you have not joined the school community, please do. And I am much more accessible there. Can I answer that? Okay, YouTube, today we will be talking about value adds in 2026, what constitutes a value add. As always, we give it till 6:05 before we start rolling. Well, why does it say I'm not here? One second. I am getting into the school group now. Can you guys hear me on school? No, you guys cannot. Okay, maybe I'm the wrong one. Shows 0 members here. Okay, guys, one second. We're getting going. What the heck? There we go. All right, guys, I'm on. I don't know why mine wasn't pushing me. Yeah, okay, so now we're ready to go. All right, we got YouTube and we have school. All right, so today I'm just gonna look at new faces. Okay, few new faces. Cool, cool. Today we'll be talking about value adds. It's been a recurring question I've been getting as far as mentality with the remodels and how you should be going about remodels. It's something that I feel like when you're getting into real estate, there's not too much clarity around. You see a lot of stuff on True TV on how nice their remodels are, and you see a lot of crazy before and afters, and it doesn't really give you many guidelines on what do you have to do for your scope of work. So today I'll talk about that, but the itinerary for today, we'll go over that. Antonio has some deals, and then we'll do Q&A as always. And then YouTube, if you have not joined the school community, please join the school community and you get a little more information and better access to me and Antonio. So, okay, fantastic. So, the value add for properties. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the clips of either Nate Barger or who else? Nate Barger talks about it a lot. Ben Mala, of course, of buying the ugliest house in the neighborhood and making it look like the rest of the houses in the neighborhood. The reason why they preach that is because when you buy the ugliest house in the neighborhood, the value add is super, super simple. It's extremely obvious. Make that house look like the other house in the neighborhood, or maybe even slightly better. That is the most beginner friendly and idiot proof mentality to have with value adds because if you're not a builder or an architect or a designer, you can't be like Chip and Joanna. Wait, Chip and Joanne? The Chip and the true TV people who take a normal looking house and make it extravagant. If you don't have a career and background in doing that, it's gonna be difficult for you to pull that off and actually add value to a already livable, decent home. With the BRRRR method and the value adds we teach and do ourselves, it's taking it a probably unlivable home or unbearable to live in home, extremely dated, smelly, messy, rough, and an eyesore to the community, and just making it background noise, just making it blend in with the other houses. Maybe we add a little bit of pop, but it's never using, you know, more than uh more than 100 IQ points, more than 100 IQ to like add that value pop, like a little bit of white paint on the outside, stuff like that. So value add for your deals whenever you're doing the burr method, it really should start with buying a property that the value is already extremely damaged. So buying the property that already is extremely far behind from just being decent. This will make it so much easier for you to force appreciation and show that you've actually come in and brought value to the property and area. So, for example, scope of work for most of our properties, it's going to be a house when you walk in. It's probably going to smell pretty bad. The flooring is going to be either torn up or disgusting or carpet. So the first thing, starting from kind of your experience walking into a house, that's the first thing you'll notice, the smell, okay? And then the flooring torn up, unusable, and then the walls being stained and smelly, stuff like that. The kitchen, the countertops not even being there potentially or being torn up, chewed up, moisture damage, stuff like that. Like, okay, would you cook on those countertops? Most of our deals, when we buy them, I wouldn't, even if I set food down and it was in a bag, I wouldn't eat it. Like, that's how nasty and rough. The ca Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was, no, I was literally editing the video for that, and there were parts of it I didn't even go in, I just, like I have a long tripod, I stuck the camera in with it, and going back and watching the videos, it's so disgusting. I don't even know if I'm allowed to put it on YouTube, to be honest. I threw in, like, a little, like, viewer discussion, like, "Hey, if you're eating dinner right now, skip this part of the video." We'll see if I keep it in there, but it was so foul, and that's exactly my point. Like, that house, the drywall and sheetrock was so damaged from moisture and animals that as soon as you walk in, like, I can't touch the walls. They're disgusting. I don't want to touch the floor. It's disgusting. The countertops are disgusting, the cabinets. And literally all you gotta do to force appreciation with a house like that is make it not disgusting, and by replacing every line item, you're bringing that house up to, like, standard for the area, so it's nothing crazy. So back to my you're walking into a house, it's always the same stuff for us, the same LVP flooring. The shade of that LVP flooring, the color sometimes changes depending on the prices we're getting from supply houses, but it's going to be LVP flooring. And then the walls and stuff. Okay, most of our houses, we don't have to actually rip out any sheetrock or drywall. It's just kills paint and primer, seals up any of the nastiness, and we're good. However, like the house Antonio was just talking about, we would have to rip like fully to the studs because how much moisture and filth and actual like hazard to people's health is baked into the walls of this house. We'd have to rip that out, but then it's putting sheetrock and drywall right back up and then painting again. So, all right, so the flooring is new now and the walls are new now. That'll handle most of the smell. And then, of course, the roof as well. A lot of times, if there's popcorn ceiling, we just sand it off and then use paint sprayer, kills paint primer. We're good. So that handles majority of the value add for our properties is the flooring and paint. And it's super simple, but that for majority of our houses is like from a square footage point of view, it's the most amount of work. And then from there, the kitchen, like I was just talking about, new countertops. Okay, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to get marble or anything nuts. I had someone asking me about like our material we use for the countertops, and it's like whatever the cheapest quartz or granite you can get. That's it. Doesn't matter. And we push for granite or quartz because it's really durable and appraisers love it. Tenants are going to think it's a luxury house if you're in a market like ours, and that handles the kitchen. And then of course the cabinets. We're either painting or if they're truly like too decor, filthy and nasty and bad. All right, we replace the cabinets. But notice how I'm not saying anything like, "Oh, we're adding open floor plans," like we're redoing floor plans and tearing down walls or, adding in an accent wall, accent panels, molding, not doing any of that. And it's almost like you should almost think about McDonald's, okay? There's this famous quote with Usain Bolt, and they asked him basically what he eats whenever he's traveling for competition, and everyone was so shocked that he said McDonald's. Well, the reason he said McDonald's is because even though it's not the best food, it's so reliably the same thing every time that it won't make him sick. That mentality works for rentals too. If you start to get cute and fancy and trying to add a little flair to your remodels, the odds of your budget busting and you not getting an appraisal go up, and the odds of it just going wrong because you getting too creative with it go up, and the scalability of your remodels goes down. So that's why you got to be thinking about McDonald's when you're doing your remodels: safe, clean, and reliable. That's it, and move on. So really the value add is getting it from I wouldn't let a dog sleep in this house to hey, this would be a decent place for a family, for like a family of 4 to live here, or a college student or someone in our market, a military-based tenant would live here and be happy with it. That's your mentality with it. So you'll also find you need to train your contractors on how to bid jobs like that versus a flip. A flip where you actually are going to be putting the house on the market will require substantially more work, inspections, and permitting in order for you to get the value uh, and quality to the point where it sells at the price you want. Whereas the BRRRR method, the flip is just good enough for the appraiser. See, when an appraiser is walking through a house, they're not doing a full inspection like you would if you were listing the house on the market to sell. So if you're just optimized for the appraiser, I encourage you, when you go out and get your first property appraised, go with the appraiser and watch what they do. It's very simple. They have like a couple page kind of checklists that they check through different items. And it's basically, if you actually, look over their shoulder, or maybe they'll share it with you, they'll see like, yes, does it use like certain things like kitchen, new remodel, and then they have like little items like granite or sorry, granite or not granite, countertop material. Sorry, guys, just had a phone call. But basically, well, because I got a freaking phone. Okay, we're back. All right, we're back. Still working on it. Antonio, yeah, you guys said you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. 1 second, guys. We're fixing audio. I'm good now? Okay, sweet. All right, I'm good now on YouTube. All right, so I don't know how much of that cut out, but basically, ending points just bid line item by line item in order to get your price down so you can see where they're cutting prices whenever you ask them to get the price lower. Antonio and I, we would just say we need this price lowered. And then the contractor do some magic and then we'd get a lower price. We wouldn't find out what he did to make it lower until 3 months later. And there's a tenant living in that place. And we found out really quickly where they were lowering that price. So that's why you want to do line item by line item so you know exactly where they're cutting the budget. And it's not just them cutting corners on essential stuff, because all of our initial remodels were just the term lipstick on a pig. It was nothing but cosmetic. And it was because we kept beating him up on price. So the things he was cutting out were the most expensive things, which happened to be essential items. And we found out about it later. So now we always do line item by line item to determine what we can cut out that won't actually cause problems for us later down the line. Okay. So I don't know how far ago I lost audio, but that's all caught up there. All right, next thing, we're going to go over a deal. Antonio, do you have those details pulled up? Okay, fantastic. Let me pull up that spreadsheet here. I should really have a screen. All right, you got the details for this deal? All right, let me pull it up. I'm going to pull it up and I'm just going to do a simple spreadsheet as always, guys. So it's, no need to overcomplicate it with a super fancy pro forma. Keep it real simple. Okay, entire screen. Yes. 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to share. Yeah, send me the photos next. All right, and then YouTube. I'm going to share screen for you guys as well. I won't. Yeah. Sharing screen. All right. I'm assuming y'all can see now. All right. I will not share the address, but everybody can see my screen in school, right? You guys can see? All right, perfect. All right, so purchase price. What are we looking at? $35,000. Great. Okay. 35,000. Okay. Reno. Fantastic. Okay. What is this? A 3-bed, 1-bath? Adding a bathroom. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Something we've Antonio and I were talking about recently. 3-1s, adding a bathroom, fantastic way to add value to properties. Nobody wants 3-1s. No one knows what to really do with them because it's a very inconvenient bedroom to bathroom ratio.
So if you can buy up 3 1s, you're going to be getting them cheaper than the other houses on the market. And just by adding a bathroom, you can add a ton of value there. So 3 1s, little, yeah, yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, so correct. I don't know if YouTube can hear Antonio right now, but adding square footage, adding bathrooms, we will be doing to 3 1s from here on. So all in with closing costs, you'll be at about, all right, so your all in cost is going to be, and then I'll get to the other numbers, about $73,000. So yeah, okay. Cost without the bathroom. Okay, so adding another, so add 10,000 to the renovation, adding an extra bathroom. Okay, 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 all right, so all line item it out, 10,000. So you're gonna be all in 83,000. Yeah, just like ballparking numbers, real quick. If you like quick math, I like, if you're on the phone with realtors or wholesalers or even homeowners, having quick ways to estimate your ballpark on deals are useful. So for this right here, I would just take the all-in cost and divide that by 0.75 to get a ballpark of the minimum this place needs to appraise for. So if we're saying we're going to be all in 83,600, divide that by 0.75 like this. I don't know how well that shows up. And then it gets you like, okay, bare minimum this has to appraise is like 112, I'd say 115. So with adding a bathroom, the absolute minimum when you're running your comps is 115 for it to work with this 75% rule. So going back to Antonio, what is this value going to be? What do you see? 122, yeah, $122,000 appraisal based on square footage at what price per square footage? What is that? Because we're adding some square footage, so that's going to be an important note for calculating the value. Okay, $110 a square foot. All right, cool, perfect. So 122 ARV. So yeah, like I just said, 115 bare minimum, and this is with adding a bathroom. So I would confidently say 122. Anytime we've added a bathroom, the appraisal has come back super generously. So I think that's a very conservative estimate. So that puts us at our cash out refi is going to be 75%. So if you watch my formulas, times 122. We're at $91,000 cash out refi. Closing costs and fees, depending on your lender, ours 3,500 about out of the total refi. So it's 91,000 we're pulling out. I'm going to subtract out another 3,500 to pay our lenders total closing costs and fees plus title work. That's about what we've been getting. Bigger loans, it's actually a smaller percentage of the total. It's a yeah, the percentage goes down. Smaller loans are going to be more expensive, just rule of thumb. Typically anything under 100,000 are going to be your most expensive loans. Anything over 100,000 are going to be it's going to start to go down. So cash to borrower after the refi is going to be this and minus this, about 88 grand. You're all in 83. So yeah, I personally, looking at this, all in $84,000 cash to borrower, 88. In my head, I'm thinking, great, we will pull out exactly how much we put in. Upside scenario, more. Downside scenario, be left with a few grand left in the deal. No problem. One thing on this I do have to point out if this was financed upfront with hard money fully to do purchase price and remodeling, like we've been talking about that loan product, I would expect to leave $7,000 to $10,000 in this deal. So correct, correct, correct. Yeah. So what Antonio's just saying on YouTube, because you can't hear his audio, you get hit with origination fees and points on the front and back end for hard money, and you actually do have holding costs during the remodel for paying the hard money every month. So you're going to be out of pocket about 10 grand, and which is fine. You know, if you can get into a deal under $10,000, just calculate a cash on cash return, make sure it's over 15%. You still get all the wonderful benefits of real estate long term. But if you're wanting to recycle your capital like a traditional BRRRR investor, it's not gonna work the same if you're using hard money every time. It's inefficient because a lot of your capital you have for investing is going to paying lenders and holding costs. Whereas if you're buying in cash, there's none of that, and you can move on deals quicker. And it's just something to think about. But both are still fantastic in their own ways. And I think the using hard money works better for people who aren't full time investors yet, and are needing more liquidity, because we've learned the hard way you do not want to just trash your liquidity for the sake of getting into deals. So still a useful product nevertheless. Other important things on this deal, Antonio? Um, I can look at some of the photos. Are you able to, because the Google Drive you sent me has the address, could you just send me some screenshots potentially, or let me think how you could share it. Yeah, it's videos. Okay. Then let me see. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. I'm gonna pull it up real quickly so you guys can't see the address. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Let me pull it up. I don't want to be. Okay, there it is. I'm not screen sharing. Let me know if I'm screen sharing. All right, let's see. Okay, perfect. I think this does kind of shows it there. So let me. All right, there we go. All right, should be covered up now. Here we guys go. All right, we're gonna look at the videos for this. Antonio, let me know if I accidentally share the address. I'll clip it. I know I'm getting to it. I probably should have made you join the YouTube live as well so they can hear you on audio, but all good. Oh, wait. I have to share entire screen. I have to do the same thing on YouTube as well. Okay, YouTube, we're about to see this property for the first time. Entire screen. And Tony, can you join the YouTube live as well and let me know if you can see my screen? Yeah, just go on my YouTube. All right. YouTube, can you see these photos and videos? They'll actually let me know. Were you guys able to see that on YouTube? Uh, yeah, Tony, just let me know what the YouTube looks like. You see it? Oh, yeah. Oops. You can't see my screen on YouTube? What about on school? Nothing? Guys, can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Alrighty, cool deal. I'll fix it. What about now? Y'all see this? Y'all see this? What? It shows up. Are you sure you're looking at it right, Antonio? Okay, because it shows it on mine. All right. Well, I just stopped, I think. Antonio, all right. I'm not seeing anything in the YouTube chat. Maybe I'm not doing it. That's what I thought. That's why I think you were just looking at the wrong thing there, Antonio. Um, all right. So these are the videos we normally get from who did I just stop sharing for? Just stop sharing on you guys. Hide. All right. All right. We're back, YouTube. Okay. Now. Okay, good. You guys can see it. Fantastic. I'll keep going. So these are the videos we normally get from our general contractor. And this house looks like, wow, quoted 36,000 for this. Let's tell me a little bit more about those line items, Antonio. Why 36,000? Because this looks like it's already got people living in it. I'm just imagining it has to just be off of square footage then causing that price to be high. Because I see carpet. Okay, okay. Whoa, snake. Okay, we have our GTV. Okay, okay. I like this brick. Yeah, Antonio. He just froze. You're cutting out, Antonio. But tile in that kitchen, we'll probably leave that as long as it's not cracked. Sometimes with tile, if you have one tile that's cracked, you have to replace them all. Yeah, a little bit of water damage right there. Yeah. Yeah, because it's all carpet. Carpet's got to go. HVAC looks pretty decent. Looks pretty new. Yard well kept. Yeah, the system looks fine. I don't see look here. So what I'm looking for on the foundation, always looking for this, looking at if it's slab, you don't want to see any cracking. Cracking on the corners of the house sometimes is normal and fine, but if you see cracking like in the middle bits, that's what you got to be really worried about. And a lot of times you can see it in the brick and actual level of the house. In our market, every house has foundation problems. It's a matter of how severe, and if it's a crawl space foundation, it's much more fixable. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Yeah, it's a nice brick build. Just carpet, got to get replaced with vinyl paint. Yeah, the kitchen. What's that type of countertop you're talking about that are in a bunch of these houses out here, Antonio? Formica. Yeah, a lot of Formica countertops. We always replace with granite. Yeah. Okay. So that's this house. Let me stop sharing. Hope you guys were able to see that. Y'all are here learning with me. So there we go. Y'all are completely removing the garage for the new bed and bath for the 31. No, what we've done in the past, it's sometimes like almost like we reduce the size of the garage to add that in. So actually, the sunflower, we were able to like split it down the middle almost, so you can still fit one car in. So we still get the garage qualification, and then the actual bedroom itself still it qualified because it had a window and a closet. So it counts as a bedroom, at least for our market. It is legally a bedroom. It has a window and closet. And then for the bathroom, we'll just have to see how we're going to play around with the layout. But we'll probably just cut into the laundry closet and garage to set up a bathroom and then convert however much of the garage needed to actually add the bedroom. Okay, so I won't go any more into that deal. Let me answer some questions. Actually, I have a bunch of questions from Instagram that I will go through. So the first one, I think this one might have been for you, Antonio. I don't know if you know a Mr. I don't know. You probably know that Mr. Jackson said, "Does the New York kid even know what he's doing?" Do you know what Jackson Cole Colts is? JAXON.KOEL. You know him? He said, "Does the New York kid even know what he's doing?" I've met him. I don't remember him, but yeah, I saw that one. I was like, I was looking through the yeah. Okay, because I was reading through the question. I was like, "Huh, one of these don't look like the other." I'm like, "What's up with this question here?" Yeah. All right. Is Section 8 tenants still would be profitable in the next 5 years in US? I'm assuming they're saying just Section 8. There's other housing authorities too that pay for rent for our tenants in our market. But yeah, Section 8's not going anywhere, in my opinion, in the next 5 to 10 years. Um, I see it. It'll if you've ever worked as Section 8, the wait list is really big, and the actual approved vouchers list is really big. The supply of housing to put those people in that meet the Section 8 requirements is very low. So the demand outpaces the supply of Section 8 housing. So no, it's not going anywhere. How much does it typically cost to build a 1 to 2 bedroom home? I don't know why you build a 1 bedroom house. I don't know what markets that would be in, but we quoted it out. We were looking to get into development not too long ago. We were looking at development deals, and shoot, the cheapest we were able to get to building just like a simple A-frame 3 bed 2 bath was still like $90,000 for a bundle of like it was 90,000 if we did a minimum of like 20 houses at scale. It's just kind of ridiculous. Like building doesn't make sense unless you're doing really high end builds or like development deals doing 20, 30, 40, 50 houses. um, I see a lot of people going bankrupting themselves and putting themselves under a massive amount of debt trying to do development deals because I don't know, it's kind of trendy right now on social media doing development, but honestly development doesn't make sense unless you're doing high end stuff. That seems to be the best place to be. Yeah. Yeah, and if you guys watch the videos with Michael in them, you'll see Michael's got 20 plus years of experience, and even he still runs into roadblocks and issues that like he's been doing this stuff for decades, and even his project goes south. And we have these people because of social media taking on $2-3 million worth of debt trying to do a development deal that have never even done a flip. And I'm not a fan of it. A BRRRR is so much more simple, and the value adds like you don't have to be an expert to figure it out. So that's why we stay away from those. I'm scared about finding tenants constantly and dealing with renters who can trash a place. So I interpreted this question two ways. If they said constantly, so I couldn't tell if they meant constantly or consistently. Either way, my answer is the same. If they meant consistently, I would still say find you a property manager that is plugged into the market that has a good pipeline of tenants because they're connected to different housing authorities in your market, whether it's Section 8 or like in us, it's like the Comanche Nation, or they're just well known around town. That will solve the issue of worrying about constantly having a consistent pipeline of tenants moving into all your rentals, and then also that's their responsibility, not yours. So you don't have to worry about placing tenants. And I recommend doing it from door one because your return on your time for property management is fixed. It's capped. Once all your units are occupied and you're collecting rent and you're keeping work orders low, you can't do anything in property management to make yourself wealthier. So you should always outsource that because you can actually actively make yourself wealthier and earn more money doing literally anything else, whether it's acquisitions, getting a better deal pipeline, or working on your actively earned income. So that's why I tell people, even at door one, outsource property management, because every hour you're spending on property management, you could be spending on building a stronger deal pipeline and a better acquisitions team, or even just more income with your W-2 job or your business. So outsource property management specifically to a mom and pop property manager or a independent property manager. But a mom and pop property management company is the way to go. Big property management companies are in the business of making money off you, whether it's from their actual fee, or their actual work orders. They always add an upcharge in order to make more money off of you. Let me check school, see if y'all had any questions about that. Nope, we're good. All right, YouTube. Alrighty, I'm about to get my real estate license and flip. My dad's a contractor. Should I BRRRR my first? One thing I notice a lot of people always ask, like, "Oh, should I get my real estate license?" Real estate license. Antonio, do you have a real estate license? No, I don't have a real estate license either. And he never plans on getting it, and I never plan on getting it. So you don't need a real estate license to start buying off market deals, buying discounted off market deals. I think a lot of people will never start real estate, or they'll put off doing real estate for years because yeah, I've been meaning to get my real estate license. Like, oh, I'm gonna get my real estate license and start doing real estate. Why? Why are you trying to get your real estate license? Just start lowballing homeowners, lowballing wholesalers, lowballing realtors, and start doing deals. A lot of people will like make this imaginary boundary or entry fee to doing real estate of getting their real estate license. You don't need to do that. Just start doing deals. So you don't need a license and real estate license and flip it. I understand if you're wanting to flip it because then you're your own realtor listing on it. But like, look, we're not teaching that. We're teaching BRRRR deals. And honestly, if you just master acquisitions and buying places at such a discount, who cares if you pay a realtor to list your place if you're just an absolute sniper getting places at a cheap price? Do you use the BRRRR profits to cover down payments and the rehab, or is cash added? I was a little confused by that question, but I think what he's trying to get at is a general confusion a lot of people have with the actual BRRRR method after the refi. Most of the refi, if you're using hard money, most, if not all, is going to pay off the hard money. Anything left over, you can save that and use that as a down payment for the next deal, or just to build your cash reserves. If you bought it in cash and there's profit after the BRRRR, don't pay yourself that profit. Honestly, build your reserves account. You'll thank me later. So anytime you have a fantastic home run deal where you're pulling out more money than you put in, don't pay yourself that. Don't give yourself a bonus. Build your reserves account first, because odds are 5 deals from now, 10 deals from now, you're going to have one of those deals where the appraisal comes back crappy and you don't pull out more than what you put in. You actually get money left in the deal. Well, you've been building up your reserves, so you're fine. Doesn't bother you. Doesn't phase you. Okay. Next question. Alrighty. How were you able to buy and manage the first house you renovated and rented? So for Antonio and I, it was wholesaling, and it was only a $30,000 house, and Antonio and I did all the work ourselves. So nothing crazy there. But if we had our lender that we have now, we would have probably used hard money, so we wouldn't have burnt all our cash. How do you fund BRRRR deals with 100% lender financing? It's hard money, pays for the purchase price. You just got to bring the cash for the actual closing costs and fees. That'll run you $4,000 to like $7,000. And then the hard money lender pays for the purchase price. And then when you're doing the remodel gets paid for in draws as you complete line items on the scope of work. And after the remodel is done, you got a tenant in it and it's occupied, go back to your DSCR lender, and you then do a traditional DSCR loan, 30-year, and now the house has a mortgage on it. Pretty simple. What is your top tip for new investors finding leads? Max out the free methods first. Zillow for sale by owner, a fat Rolodex of wholesalers, Rolodex of realtors sending you pocket listings, specifically like kind of green realtors that mess with the messier investment deals. They'll be willing to hustle for you, and you can kind of lowball them and be more aggressive with your criteria, and they'll go out and hustle for you. And then from there, if you got a little bit of money to spend, PPL, the leads come packaged. And if it's a crappy dud deal, you can get a refund, like if it's listed on the MLS. And then mailing, also fantastic if you have a little bit of time to invest in setting up a CRM and getting to leads quickly. Do not pay for mailing if you are not going to be able to answer the phone for those leads within 20 minutes. Just don't do it. Go with PPL. PPL providers we use Property Leads, Motivated Leads, Leads Zolo, Need to Sell My House Fast, Fast Home Offer, and now REI Print offers PPL. If you want that list, it's in the school community with links, I believe. If it's not, then just post a message in the school community that you need those PPL providers, and I will send them. Okay. How do you manage multiple remodels at once? Basecamp. It's been around for a long time. Super simple software. Basecamp is great. I don't like using any of the fancier ones like Notion right now. We use a lot of Claude, of course, but for your actual remodels and especially for your general contractors, keep it simple. Basecamp's fantastic. It's free. It's literally what Jeff Bezos used to build Amazon, and it works. It's great. And yeah, if you do use Claude, you can plug it into Claude and it can generate reports, interact with it, use it. But Basecamp is how we manage all of our remodels. It's great, and we love it. And also, you can invite people to projects. It's great. You can invite vendors into it. You can upload receipts. You can create property jackets. Like after you're done with the remodel, you can archive it, and it saves your purchase. Like you can have your purchase agreement to your HUD to your actual settlement statement. Everything you can save in there. Insurance stocks, mortgage statements. Basecamp is great for rehab to long-term ownership of it. But our actual CRM we use for acquisitions is Podio. How many mailers do you send per month, and how does your process look like? So I actually pulled some data on our mailing this last month, and Antonio, we've actually been averaging sending about 7,000 mailers per month. More like between 5,000 and 7,000 mailers per month, and it's it fluctuates depending on the water shutoff and code violation list we pull for the month. That is what kind of determines how much volume we do. We will be increasing our mailing just because the return has been fantastic. But yeah, I wouldn't start mailing unless you had the budget for 6 months worth of mailing. And also have your inbound dialed. If an inbound lead comes in from mailing, you should always pick up. Generally, people get a lot of mailers, so they go down a list of all they open their mailbox. They have a bunch of mailers from home buying companies. If you are in a more competitive market, they're going to call until the first person picks up, and if it's not you, they're moving on to the next person. So you or hire a VA to do it. Tips on 18-year-old wanting to get into flipping, have about 12K saved. So this is going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on if you have a base income right now, if you have a specific skill set or business you're working on. Generally, Antonio, you can kind of help me with this answer. I know YouTube can't hear it, so I'll reiterate Antonio's answer after I answer you on YouTube. I'll have Antonio's answer, and then I'll reiterate to you, Mr. Me Kanye. Awesome. But 18 years old with $12,000, I would default to learn as much as possible still because you're so early to it. Like I would not jump into a deal. I wouldn't rush into a deal. I'd get really skilled. And, I don't know exactly what your situation is with college or job is, but you got $12,000. You're 18 years old. You have plenty of time to build a fat deal pipeline. Having a fat deal pipeline is one of the best things you can have as a real estate investor. The problem is most people get into real estate investing after they already have a family or a job or a business they're running. So to spend, weeks on end cold calling or thousands of dollars every month on marketing is not feasible when they got a family, they got a job, they have a business, and they're like, look, I'm just trying to invest in real estate. You're telling me I have to build a whole marketing agency just to get my own deals? Well, you're 18 years old. And even if you just cold called for 2 hours a day, every day, Monday through Friday, you'd get really good at, you'd get pretty good on the phone. You'd get some thick skin because you'd get a lot of people pissed off at you. And that would evolve very quickly into you understanding, KPIs like getting leads, and you would get exposed to an offer a day gets you consistent deals. And you have the time right now. You're 18 years old. You got 12 grand, which is fantastic. I would say invest more in getting skilled in building a deal pipeline. So if you really do want to get all in on real estate, use your time now to build a deal pipeline, because most investors will not have the time to do that with their job or business. And then, I can't emphasize enough, but like whatever it is, if you're going to go all in on wholesaling to be your base income, your cash to invest in flipping and doing real estate, then learn it, master it, stick to it for at least a year. If it's going to be something else, then invest in learning that skill, or being educated for that job you want that gives you that high base income. But regardless if it's flipping or the BRRRR method, having a strong base income from your job or business, it's just essential. Like it takes, like if you're wanting to go from having 12 grand to having real estate be your full-time profession in under a year, it's almost like gambling psychology at that point. You're trying to leverage yourself as much as possible. Your first deals, you're trying to make them be absolute home runs so you can just go off of it. So having a strong base income before you start flipping is great. And if you're going to be in college for the next few years, living at home, making 40K a year, wanting to save at least 25. Sorry, this is a continuation, 18-year-old asking, wanting to save at least 25 to 30K before getting into my first deal, wanting to flip first, so just build capital, want to use my 9 to 5 to fund real estate, working IT, so signs of growth opportunity. Yeah, great then. Sounds like you got your W-2 figured out. So yeah, grind your W-2, get that base income, great, stack cash like crazy, learn the whole process with BRRRR investing if that's the route you're going. And look, if you got time, you're working 9 to 5, 5 to 9, you can be cold calling and starting to build a deal pipeline. And then once you feel fully educated and you got consistent deals coming in, maybe a little bit of wholesaling here and there, then you're ready to go by the time you've saved up 100 grand, because you're living at home making 40K per year. You're only 18. You definitely are going to get your base income up. Like we've been watching it with Mr. Sean Flick, and he lived at home for a little bit to save up a bunch of cash, bought his first deal in cash, and now he has like 6 houses, and he's not that far away from quitting his job. And it looks like you're in a very similar position. So I'll end it here at base income, great. Build a deal pipeline, save up enough cash to buy your first deal in cash, and then BRRRR from there. Keep increasing your base income. Don't quit your job until you got at least 50 rentals, honestly. That's what I tell people. So I'm not a financial advisor either, so take everything I said with a grain of salt. Let me check school for any questions. Good question, me Kanye. Antonio, yeah, I didn't ask you. What would you say to him? What's your advice on that? Okay. All right, cool deal. Yeah, next time I'll have to make you join the YouTube live, Antonio, because no one can hear you. Best state to start. Also, do you own all over the U.S.? We do not own all over the U.S. We are hyper-focused on Oklahoma, and the reason we're not spread across the entire U.S. is because we were told by a very, very big investor, basically, that when he was across multiple states, his portfolio grew slowly. He constantly had problems as far as quality of remodels and consistency of deal success. Whenever he stopped being in multiple states and went super deep in one market, hyper focused in one market, his portfolio grew 5 times as fast. So, like most things, focus is everything. And for us, we decided to hyper focus on one market. So I would say, I see it with wholesalers all the time and investors. They like to flex about how many states they're buying in. And I think it's so stupid. because if you just would focus on one market, you can know that market like the back of your hand. Like Antonio, like I can tell him an address, and he can tell me what he thinks, like within probably $5,000 to $10,000 worth of accuracy, what the place is worth and what it would rent for. And you get that by going super deep in a market and just trying to be dominant in that market. So go deep in one market. Don't spread yourself thin. Don't try to be nationwide home buyer. Like, don't focus on one market. Have amazing relationships with your boots on the ground in one market. You get those relationships where your phone doesn't ring, as my phone rang on this live, but you get the relationships where you don't need to worry about your phone ringing because people handle problems for you by going deep in one market. Go to the Chamber of Commerce events in your market, the Board of Realtors events in your market. Like, get plugged in, and your portfolio will grow so much faster, and you'll feel like you know what you're doing much quicker. Midwest, currently. Yeah, and we're not from the area we invest in. Antonio's from New York. I'm from Texas. We both live in Oklahoma now, but our main market is 2 hours away from where either of us live. Not 2 hours, about an hour and a half away from where either of us live. And if you don't like your backyard where you invest in, maybe it's not affordable, maybe the landlord laws suck. It's a 21st century. Remote investing is a real thing, and you can pull it off. Yeah. All right. Check in school for any other questions. Just the regulars. Shemaya, go. All right. Oh, how do you find contractors and good prices when doing a remodel? All our best contractors we found on Facebook, and honestly, just rotate through them. You're going to have to go through a few, but always get a signed contract beforehand that lays out how you're going to deal with change orders and signed scope of work, help you out a ton, and signed payment schedule. And then just be okay with taking a few on the chin as far as crappy remodels and crappy contractors. We had to go through a few before we landed on a decent one, and now we have our own general contractor that's in-house that bids out all the individual line items to laborers. So that's how we operate now. What can I be learning and doing at 15 if I'm interested in real estate? All right, so I was talking about this the other day, but the best thing you can do at 15 is, yes, of course, listen to podcasts, listen to Bigger Pockets, real estate. I would just say very low pressure, curious learning at 15. Low pressure, curious learning. Do not sacrifice being 15 to try to, be rich at 15. What's his name? Higher Up Wellness talks about it a lot. But if you're 15, just be a kid, but explore your interests. Like, if you're interested in real estate, listen to as many real estate podcasts as you can, read as many real estate books as you can, but don't cut yourself off from being 15 years old. I was reflecting on it the other day, and it just kind of, it was one of those moments. I was just driving, and it kind of hit me. I'm like, whoa, when was the last time I was at recess? Like, what the heck? Like, I swear, like, I feel like yesterday is just at recess, and you become an adult really quickly, and adult problems and pressure and stress kind of just sneak up on you out of nowhere. And I'm talking at 24, I don't even have kids yet or anything like that. And it made me realize, like, oh, I didn't know how nice being an adolescent kid was at the time. I didn't know what life was about to be. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm not saying life is bad after 18 or after 20, but it's hard, and you lose a little bit of the, I'd say, like, play and lightness you have at 15 to actually explore things and find things you're into, and visualize and create. I feel like you need your teenage years to be very, I guess, low pressure, so that way you can imagine the future you want. Because then if you're trying to create it while you're that age, then you might create something that you don't actually want. So, kind of tangent on that, but learn, be 15, create a vision. That's it. Yeah, Antonio, anything on that? All right, cool. Yeah, but hey, 15-year-old, good. Ah, shoot. Okay, there we go. Never mind. I thought I closed it. How did you guys find your market to invest in? A cold calling an entire state and then noticing where more deals were coming from than other markets and jumping in the Facebook communities for every market in our state and seeing which one was the least competitive and where we felt like we could consume. Yeah, pretty simple there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I could rant more about being 15 because, like, I don't know, dude. It's crazy how quickly it sneaks up on you. One day you're in college, and then all of a sudden, like Antonio, like, I mean, you're about to be a settled down, like, family man. So that's pretty crazy. So it sneaks up on you. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even think about what was I doing at 15. I mean, like, yeah, I was listening to the podcast, but like, if I look back at my camera roll and really piece together what I was doing at 15, holy cow, I was an idiot. And I know Antonio could speak to it as well. Yeah. Well, no, no. All right. Well, what is this goal thing? 10 super chats. Okay, that's interesting. Guys, I'm new to the YouTube live, so we'll get better at these YouTube lives. Um, I'll hang around for just another minute, see if there's any other questions. School, checking if you guys have any questions. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot to plug ourselves. But if you want to do a deal with me and Antonio in our market, use our title company. We source the deal, we remodel the deal, we connect you with our lender, hard money, or you buy cash and we refinance. Please click the link in my bio and fill it out. Get it on a call. And yeah, it's a limited thing. We can only handle so many people like that. So if you'd be interested in doing a deal with us, like literally in our market, we source it and everything. Please fill out the form. Just watch your 70 rentals. Awesome. Yeah, I got more questions. Really like the messages you shared there. Thanks for being genuine. Hey, thank you. We try. Thank you very much. Yes, we have a group. It's a school community. So I don't know if the link in my YouTube bio works for it, but you can try the link in my YouTube bio. That might just be the book a call. But if you go to my Instagram and click in my bio and select the first option, that'll get you into the school community. I'll post the link in the chat right here. And it's just everything I know. It's literally just everything I know. But if you want more than that, please click the link. All right, yeah. So I just posted the school community. That's just literally everything I know. It's not a course. It's not behind a paywall. It's all free. It's everything I know, everything Antonio knows, just brain dumped in there. And if you follow it, you will get deals. Period. I seen it happen time and time again. Period. You will get deals. But if you want to work with us, actually, then click the second option in my Instagram bio or link on my YouTube channel description. Our Facebook groups where most off-market deals get done. I would say, yeah. I mean, in the beginning, you can get a lot of off-market deals, but I'd say Facebook groups are where most of your off-market connections get made, like where you'll find wholesalers. Yeah, yeah, you'll make a lot of connections with wholesalers in there. But for us, because we're psychos and we spend way more than most people on our marketing every month. Most of our off-market deals are found directly from homeowners. So if you're not willing to spend time and money on that, then yes, Facebook is where you'll get them. All right, checking if there's anything else. Who's still here? All righty, guys. Well, same here. Thanks, guys. Yep, of course, Shemaya. We have see you tomorrow. Yeah, sorry, we're going a little bit late, but anyways, guys, see you guys next time. Thank you for being here, and these lives will keep getting better. So have a nice night. Bye. How do I end this now? There we go.